Hello and welcome to another video. Now this week's going to be hopefully a wildlife video, or although I have bought the landscape kit just in case. I was really thinking this year that I wasn't going to be able to do anything on the red deer rut. Normally I like to be up in Scotland at this time of year, but it's just not been possible this year, so my options were pretty thin really to do a video on red deer. There was Bradgate Park where I've been before, and places like that, but to be honest I don't know, when you photograph deer up in Scotland where they're truly wild, it's quite difficult to go to sort of parkland and do the same thing, because for me it doesn't have the same excitement. I don't get the same thrill out of actually stalking to get into a position to photograph the deer, because to be honest, in parkland they're sort of penned in and you really know where they're going to be. It's just waiting for that right moment to take the shot really. So anyway, when somebody posted some images on my photography group on Facebook of a place called Big Moor near Sheffield, and they were taking pictures of the red deer rut, I thought, that's interesting. So anyway, I had a word messaged and sort of found out a little bit more, and I've driven up here this morning, actually overcompensated and got here when it was dark. Now Big Moor is really quite a big moor, I suppose, and it's on the west side of Sheffield. Never been here before, but Frogger Edge and Kerber Edge are just down there, so I've been sort of not too far away, but never really, well, I've never explored this part of the Peak District before at all. So it's quite a big area, and I was wondering, how am I going to find these deer? So I was walking along the bridleway and just stopped for a second, and then I heard the bellowing, so I think they're over here somewhere. I'm going to head off that way and see if I can get some images and some footage, and yeah, I'll bring you along with me, and I'm not sure how much filming there'll be today, but we'll see. So yeah, it's just getting light. I think the sun's just up, so the trick here is to get into a position. Now I know I am downwind from where the noise is coming from. I've got the wind in my face, so that's point one, which is in my favour. The next thing I've got to do is get to a position where I can take some images, but I'm not going to disturb the deer, so I'm going to be offline for a while I try and get into a position, because as I always say with my wildlife videos, the first thing to bear in mind is to not disturb the wildlife. They come first, and it's the rut, and they've obviously got other things on their mind. I don't want to get into a position where it's going to disturb them, and conversely put myself in danger as well. So yeah, I'll get over this little ridge here and see how we stand. Right, I'm hoping that you can hear this audio. I've got into a reasonable position. I don't want to get too close to the deer, because obviously I don't want to disturb their natural behaviour, and also don't want to put myself in danger either. There is a bit of activity going on. The light's just, as you can see, getting better, so hopefully I'll get some reasonable shots, but I think this is as close as I want to get. Hopefully they'll come to me a little bit. We'll have to see. I can see the big male over there who seems to have about 12 females with him. I think he's the main character up here. There's a couple of others who've got like 2 or 3 females with them, scattered around the hillside. Yeah, it's just really important to make sure you know your position in relation to everything else that's around, because obviously you don't want to get sort of trapped in the middle of any activity that's going on. So I'm going to stay here in the heather, I think, unless they start to get too close, and then I'll reverse out of here. Hopefully we'll get some film. It's nice actually just to watch the behaviour, and you can hear the deer calling, the males. I've not seen any fighting yet, so whether we'll get any of that I don't know. But yeah, it's really interesting up here. It's as close to Scotland I think as I'm going to get down in England, and when you think you're sort of 3 or 4 miles from Sheffield, it's amazing really. So yeah, really enjoying it. Quite windy up here today, so I hope the audio's okay. But yeah, I'll see if I can get some pictures and then I'll get back to you. We might have some action kicking off in a minute. There's a male approaching this big male who's got like 12 females with him. He's actually just been chasing one round, trying to mate with her. I think she must be coming into season. This male's wandering across here. He looks in good condition, but he doesn't look as big. The antlers aren't as big, but this male with the large amount of females has been really calling as he's approached, but he's still coming, so that's interesting. We'll see what happens. He's approaching a group of females and he's stopped, so let's see what happens. Yeah, that big male took a few steps towards him and he's sort of turned half away and he's now eating some grass, so yeah, he obviously doesn't fancy it, but we'll see what happens. He's obviously very, very tempted, and that male's still calling to him, so he's not gone completely away. Just see another big male over on the top there that's coming this way, so we'll see what happens with him. That's interesting. That sneaky younger male, actually the bigger male was again chasing this female because I think she's about ready to mate, and he sneaked in and sort of wandered off and chased off with about 3 or 4 of this guy's troop of females here. He actually just sneaked in and run them off in the other direction, and now they're wandering off up the bank, and I think the other male's just going to let them go, which is all that work he's done to keep them together, and he's just sneaked in and taken them. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be a fight over that. He's just given up, I think. Right, I think I'm going to give it another 10-15 minutes in this position, and then I think what I'll do, because they seem to be quite settled here. There are 1 or 2 other little groups, and I actually saw a big male earlier heading back down in that direction. And there's some really lovely long grass here that's lovely golden brown at this time of year. And because it's windy up here, it's creating sort of like a wave effect. Now, if I can get one of the deer in that, it'll look a pretty nice shot, especially if the deer's sort of stationary and the grass is moving. So I'm going to head down, I think, in a minute and see what I can see further down, and obviously leave these to get on with what deer do at this time of the year. Right, I hope you can hear this audio because it's quite windy up here. I've managed to get my way to a little bit of high ground here, and it's amazing to watch the various factions as they play out. You've got like 3 or 4 different groups with big males with a group of females with them, and then you've got like little outlying groups of slightly smaller males, and the slightly smaller males, sometimes they group together and you can see them sort of taunting the bigger males as if they're going to come in, and then they think better of it and decide not to, and the males are shouting across at each other. The big males that really mean business, and as I say, you've got the others in between who are sort of, yeah, I'm going to come and have a go, and then no, I don't fancy it today. So it's really interesting to watch. I've got 3 fairly big males down here. There's a big male up here with a lot of females, and then there's another male over there with a lot of females, and these 3 are sort of coming in the middle all together. It's yeah, it's just like a soap opera playing out in front of you. Let's see if we can get some images. Right, I think that's me done for today now. It just sickens me when you've got idiots like this who've got absolutely no idea. You know, if you're going to come out and get a big lens and take pictures of wildlife, then at least give the wildlife the respect it deserves and learn about the wildlife first. You know, look at a few books, read a few books, look on the internet. Get a little bit of etiquette when you're doing your photography, because this idiot has just that now is all wildlife photographers. Anybody who sees this pillock, he's just sort of what he thinks he's in a zoo. And if one of the males gets a little bit upset and gores him to death, it'll be the deer's fault. Right, I'm sorry to have to end the video on that sort of note with idiots like that wandering around between the deer. He's actually going to another group now to disturb them. Yeah, I just hope he don't drive them towards me, because I don't fancy getting gored to death. I mean, he might do, but that's up to him. I'm actually going to head off out of here now before he does something stupid like that. Hope he got some good images anyway. Anyway, I will see you next week for another video. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, then please consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you next week for another video. Cheers, bye.